Hey guys, it's me, Ashley Elizabeth from the Living Muse. I have a new setup. Usually I just hold my camera to, film, but I have a book with me because I took notes. I actually took notes of notes. So this is like the mini version of, and so I'm not paging through a bunch of different stuff. Somebody posted today something on my wall that I felt that might really confuse a lot of people or concern people, and I really want to clear that up and where my stance on that is. Okay, so you guys need to know what the intention of my group is, or of this group is, of the Living Muses, and also where my heart lies. And most of all, or not most of all, but most importantly, is that I can sum it up by saying the word jargon. It's one of my favorite words to pull out, and it basically is just terminology that is specific to a trade or to a certain set of people, and it can completely sound like mumbo jumbo to some people, and that's fine. That is really what it is. And if we want to talk jargon, to me, and you may disagree, and that's fine. You're entitled. The word God to me is jargon. If we want to go through the list, my favorites are God, Allah, Creator, Lord, Deity, Goddess, Spirit, Source, or Universal Consciousness, Shiva, Krishna, Christ, Ahura Mazda, Mother Goddess, Vishnu, Brahma, and Gaia. So, that's a relatively short list. But they all kind of represent a different religion. And so we have some paganism, we have some Christianity in there, definitely some of the Islam religion, spiritualism, Buddhism. Did I get Buddhism in there? Buddha. We have a lot of religions represented there, and it's been my firm belief for a really long time. Something that's really interested me is the study of religions. And for a long time, I really turned away from Christianity because it had been harped on me and told me I didn't matter, or that I wasn't doing things right, or that I wasn't important enough, or I wasn't, I listened to secular music, so I was going to hell. And so I had a really negative experience with Christianity, so I just turned away from Christianity altogether. Nothing anybody said that was Christian was okay. Didn't want to hear it. But then I started really looking at the main core, I guess, some of the big things that you'll find in every religion, and I want to go over a couple of those with you. And well, first I'm going to start with this. It was about the post was about visualizing a shield, a way of protecting yourself. And for people who are not spiritualists, that sounds kind of nuts. But guess who else believes in the power of positive, of visualizations? Mainstream people like Oprah and Will Smith, Jim Carrey, they've all talked about it, visualizations and using positive visualizations. Richard Foster, Dale Carnegie, he wrote that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and it's still a bestseller. For in the spiritual realm, Eckhart Tolle, his version's different, but he still does believe in it. He's yes, visualization, very good. And so I want you to realize that we are dealing with a lot of jargon. We are dealing with a lot of terminology. But what I do want to do is I want to always have people lifting people up, bringing joy, bringing love, seeking goodness, looking for the good, being kind. That's my goal. Love. In Christianity, Jesus' last commandment was to love one another as I have loved you. I know the Bible fairly fairly well because there was a time in my life where, first of all, I was raised Christian. Second of all, I moved to the South when I was like 9, so, or 10, I don't know. More at least 2 decades ago, okay? So I was raised in I spent a lot of time in an evangelical church, which was spent a lot of time in the Bible. So I studied my Bible because I wanted to be a good Christian. So I do know the Bible fairly well. And when I say I know it, there's so many translations and interpretations. I just know what Scripture, like I know Scripture. So please don't take that the wrong way. But one of the things I started to realize is when I was in college, I took a world religion class, and one of the things I started to realize is that there were so many similarities. And in the way that people express their religion. And I wanted to share some of those with you because to me they're really, really important. And to me it's just basically a way for me to show you that it is jargon. Now some of you may disagree with me, and that's fine. All I ask is that you're allowed to feel how you feel about your religion. You're allowed to be your religion. I ask, or that your belief, your spiritual belief, whatever that is, you're allowed to be that. You're allowed to have that. I'm not disregarding it. I'm also not going to argue it. There are some things I disagree with, but I'm not going to sit here and argue. But I do want to point some of them out because I think that they're really cool and really neat. And so when you see something that you may not understand on my site, gosh, such a possession there. Because I really want this to be a group. I want this to be one big happy family. Which is why, you guys can always reach out to me. One of the things and this is something I really have had such an interest in for a really long time. If you look at the religions like as a whole, like not just like the big ones, but like the little ones too, they all have like these running themes, right? Song, dance, prayer. Like these are like, and I say dance and I mean like movement. Like there is a physical movement to the religion, right? So I'm most familiar with Christianity because I spent so much time in it. But for songs, like I've been in a number of different churches within Christianity. We have hymns, we have praise and worship, and stuff like that. And some of the hymns were very quiet and read out of a book. That was mostly Presbyterian, Methodist, and Catholicism. Some were printed mostly for what I dealt with in Episcopalian. But for the evangelical churches, it was usually on a really huge board, like displayed for you to sing. And they were typically more rock star, pop-ish type music, but it was still music. In spirituality, we typically hear the Om, Om, Om. In Islam, they pray 5 times a day, and if you've ever listened to that prayer, there's something very musical about it. It's not just repeating words. There are parts where the language itself is singing. Hinduism, there's something called I'm good at pronouncing languages, but if I haven't heard it that many times, so forgive me if I butcher a word. I really, really am sorry. But then in Hinduism, there's something called bhajans. B-H-A-J-A-N-S. Bhajans. Bhajan. And these are songs that are part of their heritage as well, and that's in Hinduism. Buddhism, Hinduism, Sikhism, Jainism, a lot of these are derived from Hinduism and stuff like that, and so you'll have that. You'll have like a lot of crossover there too, so the Om is there present as well. In Catholic Church, you have the Gregorian monks, and they chant. And they're absolutely beautiful, but there is something very, very resonating about it. It's very similar to the and I I I like all kinds of music, and I do actually like Gregorian chant. So we have all these different kinds of music that are really across the board, that are part of each and every religion, is some sort of vocalization that sounds a lot like, that can either be song or very close to song. It is a vocalization which comes from our 3D self. There's also movement. I have it in my book as dance, because dance. But it's movement. And in Christianity, Psalms 149:3 says, let's see, let them praise his name with dancing. If you go to an evangelical church, you'll see, hallelujah, praise Jesus, amen. We do a lot of that. Like, I say we do a lot of that, but like, I don't really do that anymore. So, but you'll see people just sitting there, just going like this, and I'm not mocking that. I'm strictly using that as an example. And I've seen people run up and down the aisles literally dancing. So dance is obviously a part of it. Like in tribes, like you don't have to spend 5 minutes on like the National Geographic Channel for them to show some sort of ritual where somebody is dancing. Native Americans, they have tons of dancing, and in a lot of cultural backgrounds, like we always have a Greek festival here, and there's always traditional dancing. And these are born in their religious beliefs. In Hindu, there's something called the Bharatanatyam. I butchered that one. Bharatanatyam. And it's a temple dance. It's one of many. But it was supposed to be like a temple dance of devotion done by women. And even in Islam, and for them, when they do that, where 5 times of prayer, they are going through the ritual. There's a standing up, there's a kneeling, there's a sitting, and there's a repetition of that. And so you have this movement that's also in all religions. I really shy away from saying all or never, but I have yet to see a religion that didn't encompass these. The other type, really important, and I don't really care what you call it. And I try to tell people, like, I meditate. And so in Christianity it's called prayer. In Islam it's called salat, I believe. There's incantations, there's meditations, there's hymns, there's silence, speaking to spirits, and these are all things that are basically essentially the same thing. So we're all making noise, we're all moving, and we're all communing with that list of gods, or God that is at the beginning. Now, the reason why I brought up Christianity and says that God, like God's greatest, or Jesus' greatest commandment before we left the earth is to love one another as I have loved you. Now, you study Jesus, you'll know, if you just study Jesus, so like forget the dogma, forget everything else, and you just look at the person. If it would make you feel better, we can call him Jesus, okay? Whichever way you want to look at it, just so that you can conceptualize the idea that there was a man on earth that came along and said, my greatest commandment is to love one another as I have loved you. And what did he do? He hung out with sluts, I guess, like hookers, literally prostitutes, Mary Magdalene. He went down and hung out with the lepers. So did Buddha. Let's see, there is the creation story, like the story of flooding. That's across, like every culture has their own flooding story. Like, did you know that? Like everyone has their own flooding story. I have what I call my Jehovah's Witnesses, which I adore. They are very nice people, and I love their conversations, and we discuss all kinds of things. One of the questions, because I usually send it back with questions. I'm like, okay, well, I would like to know this. Like, in Islam, Muhammad is their prophet. And I didn't know this until I took that class, but Muhammad actually descended into hell and rose again in 3 days. Does this sound familiar? I probably should have pulled out my notes on that, because that's not the first story. That's not the first time. There's actually a number of prophets or bees have done the same thing. And I'm not calling one right or the other. All I'm saying, my big point here, guys. Big point. Okay? I'm alive. I've had very spiritual experiences within Christianity, and I'm not even a professing Christian. I am, like, I've had really divine experiences in Shavasana in a yoga class. And does it make it right or wrong? Does that make it demon or Satan or, you know, not real or not true or any of those things? I'm going to go with it doesn't matter. Those experiences touched my life, and they changed them for the better. And because of that, like, I will take them as they are. Like, we can say it's, you know, we can say it's Christianity. We can say that's God. We can say it's Satan. We can say it's any number of things, and it doesn't really matter. So, the reason I really wanted to do this video is really an introduction to this, because I would like to share more with you guys. But if you see something in this group that just, that's not me, I don't get it, screw that, that's totally against my religious beliefs, take a deep breath. I'm serious. Take a deep breath. You are not surrounded by demons. You're not surrounded by Satanists. Just because there's a lot of us who do not believe in Christianity or do not believe in any of the five majors, which, you know, whatever you believe, okay? Just because we don't necessarily believe that doesn't mean that it's wrong, but most importantly, it doesn't mean that there's not good to be had in the group. I encourage positivity. Basically, one of my favorite things right now is Proverbs. I think it's Proverbs 22:1. And it basically says, and for the umpteenth time, I keep saying I need to memorize this one because I really like it. But it basically more or less says that a man's name is more important than riches and gold. Like, so basically, who you are and what your name is, like, and who you represent is far more important than you having lots of money. Like, your integrity is what counts. And your character. And I think that's, you know, I think the reason why I like that so much is because right now is, you know, I don't have to be, you know, a millionaire. Or I've had people tell me when I talk about my tarot readings that, oh, well, why don't you have the lottery numbers? And I'm like, dude, come on, really? Actually, I usually respond with I'm a psychic. I'm not a psychic, just because it gets them off my back. Even though empathy me being empathic can be considered one of the clairs, or the clairvoyance, claircognizance, stuff like that. But a lot of it is like, this is where I'm at, and if you have something you want to share that isn't, like, you know, super preachy, don't preach at me, guys. Still gotta work on that one, I guess, but as long as it is a joyful message, like doing good, or having integrity, or loving thy neighbor, or you know, even talking about prayer, like the importance of prayer. You know, see past the jargon for people who aren't Christians and don't like pray to God. There's an important message in there, which is sit down, take time for yourself, and to come together and be one and be whole. Meditate. So if you guys want to share those videos, or if you want to share messages like that, I am not going to dog you for whatever religion they come from. And all I ask is that you do the same thing. Because there are things that you're not going to understand. Because it's not your religion. I talk about guides, like spirit guides. And this is it's a new and old concept for me. Because in Christianity, God spoke to me. And now there's something else. And people could call me crazy. Like the science world would be like, oh, she might be a little schizophrenic or bipolar or, you know, whichever. There's a scientific explanation for a lot of things. But, you know, it's jargon. And if you can look past, like, spirit guides, like the idea that I have spirit guides or angel guides, or that God talks to me, or something to that effect. If you can look past that in a necessary belief and just listen to what the words are, then you're going to grow much more within yourself. And what's better is that if you really are like, she's nuts, she's talking about spirit guides. Okay, fine. If you don't believe in that, then go find it in your religion and see if it's negated. Big challenge. Please PM me those, because I don't want to start huge debates. But I will be happy to address them. But that's the point, is that you guys need to realize that, like, I don't want problems. I don't want to turn people away, because the world does need love. And if we continue to segregate into these little, like, I'm Buddhist, I'm Taoist, I'm Christian, I'm Hindu, I'm this, I'm that, I'm spiritualist, I'm universalist, Gnostic. Gosh, I'm doing bad at naming all my religions right now. But if we sit there and keep segregating them, we are segregating ourselves from each other, most importantly. So not cool, man. Like, we can sit down and all have a discussion and explain what we mean. You don't have to believe it. A lot of religions teach you not to believe what other people say, and that creates conflict. And more people have died. You ready for this? More people have died in religious battles and battles over religion than they have in any other, like, I believe it's in any other war ever. That I know, but I think, like, ever on planet Earth. Like, name a thing. Religious battles and wars have killed more people. So, sure. If you're a Christian, you can get on board with that. If you're Hindu, you can get on board with that. If you're, Buddhist or Taoist or spiritualist or universalist or whatever, there's a truth in that. Like, if we're going to sit here and fight with each other, then we should probably fight over the right things. And that is, were you acting in love? Were you acting in peace? Were you acting from a place of oh, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say joy. Just because I've been turned off from, like, seeking joy, because I feel that that's been, I really feel like that's been used as I really feel like that's been used as a spiritual bypassing tool by somebody that I've dealt with lately. And on a complete tangent, I am an intuitive empath. So that means, as a general rule, I can feel your feelings, which means that I'm not trying to come at you, or anybody for that matter. I do tarot readings. Life coach is still, I'm trying to find another word for that, because coach to me sounds like, oh, you're the coach. Coach, what do I do? No, life friend is another one. I don't know. But, you know, counsel, yeah, that's another just jargon that holds negative stigma or can. But, like, if you come to me, I'm going to tell you the truth, and this is based off of what you feel. And you're like, well, I don't feel that way. Well, guess what? Maybe you've stuffed it down somewhere you don't want to talk about, or chosen not to feel that way. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Oh man, I'm so sorry. I know this is, you know, specifically, I am really sorry. Like, I legit feel bad for more, it's actually more than one person, because they don't, I don't think they get it. Like, I don't think they get it, but I'm not them and they're not me, so, but anyways, if you guys do have any questions, and if you guys do want to share any alternate, like, religious beliefs, you're allowed to. This is not limited to, like, spirituality or any particular belief. This is all aimed for us to grow and be in a happier place, because plenty of us could use some more money, or would like some. Plenty of us would enjoy a different lifestyle, and this is all about working to get there, for one, but mainly to be happy about the journey there. So this is kind of my, like, let's all get along video. So please, if I do end up taking a post down or suggesting an edit to it, it's not personal. It's so that it's not sounding like it's aimed or that it's condemning, because whether we mean to or not, we do that, and I do that too. So by all means, call me out. Like, call me out. I'm cool. I'm all about learning. I love to learn, and I hope the best for you guys. And everybody new, no matter how long this video is, needs to watch it, because guess what? This is what this group is about. It's about love. And I want to be able to feel like I can invite other people in this group without them going, she's an occultist, or going, this is about, you know, this has some sort of motive to, convert me or anything like that to any other religion. But I want this to be a safe haven for all of us, so maybe you guys, we could totally be the example of what it's like for so many different kinds of people to get along and to build each other up, no matter the faith. Imagine that, you guys. Like, wouldn't that be incredible? Like, do you know how happy that would make my heart? So when I say share joy, share joy. I don't care how small it is. I'll be there. If I'm the only one who likes it, who cares? It's worth, like, being honest, like, yay. Anyways, guys, like, I don't know what else to say. If you do have any questions, I'm always here. I'm always usually quick to respond. I am on the East Coast. I will say that much. I'm on the East Coast, and while I do keep late hours, that doesn't mean that, like, it doesn't mean that I'm up all the time. But if it's East Coast hours-ish, normal-ish, I should be up, and you can message me. I check my, like, my filter box, like my other box, relatively frequently. So, you know, much love and light, you guys, and, can't we all just get along? Man, how bad is it that we actually make fun of that statement? Yeah, anyways, Ashley Elizabeth, that's me, and I'm from the Living Muse, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.